In this video, I'm just going to quickly go through each of these options for the descriptive stats in SPSS. It really just takes a little bit of practice and experimentation to get used to it. What I've done is taken a little picture so I can talk through each of these options because they're good for different things. The first one, which says frequencies, and it has the little 1, 2, 3, this is really good for counting stuff. So if you have categorical variables and you want counts and percentages, this one will work a treat. If you have continuous data and you want means and standard deviations, then this one is the best choice. If, however, you have continuous data and you want something a little bit more complicated, perhaps you want the medians and the ranges, or the min and the max, etc. Oh no, the min and the max will come in the first one. Definitely the median and some of the other measures like skewness and kurtosis will come out with the Explore. The Explore also gives you the options to split it into groups. So as with the charts, if I wanted to look at the height and weight separately for males and females, I would need to do that with the Explore option. Now the fourth one here, in crosstabs, will cross-tabulate two categorical variables. I should make that a bit smaller so it lines up with the text. No. So if I wanted to cross-tabulate, say, gender with being vegetarian, I could use this last option. I've just put a little note down here, and this has just come straight from the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and I'm sure you'll find it in any textbook. If the data are normally distributed, then all of these measures, mean, median, mode, are all appropriate. If your data is skewed, or if you have outliers which are really pulling on the data just in one direction, then the mean may be very strongly affected by those outliers or the skewness, and in that case you would tend to report the median with either the range or perhaps the interquartile distance or the min and the max, some other measure. So I'll just take you through each of those. So the first one here, descriptive stats frequencies. So you can put in a number of variables at one time. So I'll put in gender, vegetarian, number of villages. I don't even remember what that question was. Let's just put it in. Okay, so we've got our counts, which is the frequencies. We've got the percent, which is the percent out of all the rows, including the missing data. And then we've got the valid percent, and that's the percentage just out of the rows where the data exists. So I've got 12 rows where people didn't consent to be in my study and they're missing, and I don't actually want to include those in my final percentages, so I would just be using the valid percent. And then we've got the same for the vegetarians, number of villages lived in. So this is one variable that there's quite a lot here actually. Maybe that would be something we would treat as continuous. Oh, how often do you smoke? That was the last one, and we've just got the three categories there, and it looks like most of the people are non-smokers. So that's the first option if you want counts and percentages. The next option, descriptives, is good if you want means and standard deviations. So pick one, and if you hold down Shift on your keyboard and then click the bottom of the range, you can pop them in. And it'll give you a nice little table out. So I've got 40 observations, and min, max, mean, and standard deviation. So that's quite easy to use. The next option, Explore. Now this can give you a lot of output, so you've got to be careful what you put in here. I might just put in one variable to start with. Let's say I just put in weight and then press OK. You'll see that I get the mean and the standard deviation, but I've also got the median, the variance, the min and the max showed up on the other one, the range, interquartile range, skewness and kurtosis. This is for everyone together. The other thing that the Explore option will do is split that up into groups for you. So if I go back to Explore and I put gender in the factor list, so the factor means groups, you can see now that it splits the weight up into these two groups, so I can pull out the numbers that I need for females and males. It does also do some plots just to be nice, so you can use those plots too if you like. Now the last thing that you might find handy there is the cross tabs, and this will cross tabulate to categorical variables. So I did the gender and vegetarian before, I could do that again. And this time it does this counting for me. So it turns out there were 4 female vegetarians and only 3 males, but I only had 17 women in the sample and 23 males. So it's nice to have those numbers. This will also do percentages for you if you like. If you go into Analyze and, where was I? Cross tabs. Now in the cells, so it's the third one down on the right, we can ask it for percentages, and again you have to choose how you want the percentages calculated. In this case I think I want it out of each gender what percentage are vegetarian, because this is how I decided to do my graph in the end, and these are rows, so in this case I would choose out of each row, but it's completely possible that you would choose to do it a different way. So we have 23.5% women were vegetarian and only 13% men with my very small sample. So have a play with that and you'll see there's quite a few options there. I wouldn't tick everything because you'll end up with so many numbers it gets hard to read.